Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm René Nelson with Pacwest Commercial Real Estate. And today we're asking the expert, Isaac Grant from Northwest Community Credit Union. He's the commercial lending officer. We're asking Isaac some questions related to property. So Isaac, when a borrower calls you and they want to get pre-approved and actually go through the lending process, what information do you look at when you're deciding how much they qualify for in relation to the property? What do you want to know about the property?
When we have that first initial phone conversation or sit down for coffee to meet about a subject property that someone's looking to purchase, some of the best information to have for that first conversation is going to be the offering memorandum from the selling broker. That's going to give your lender a real good snapshot as to what it is that they're looking to purchase and ultimately what they're asking you to finance. In those offering memorandums, there's typically just a snapshot of the financial information as well, which is going to help your lender size up how much they think they'd be able or willing to lend against that subject property. Another great thing to have for that initial conversation is going to be some of your own personal financial information for anyone that's going to be part of the purchasing and borrowing entity for that subject property. So we're going to need to see a personal financial statement and some personal tax returns and really get a good picture as to that individual's financial strength.
So Isaac, let me ask you a question, because you know I do a lot of multifamily units in the Eugene-Springfield area. Tenants and apartments just really that's my passion. That's what I really enjoy working on. And a lot of times a listing broker will bring a property out and we'll see a pro forma statement, which includes typically last year's expenses and next year's rent for what I call kind of a market. There's a difference between market rent and what you could get rents to on the upside for rent. So I always try to ferret that out and really look at it and analyze it for my clients. But you know, when we're doing just that initial inquiry and the borrower's trying to get pre-approved with you, as you're starting to dig into the financials and into the information, how do you deal with that, with market rent versus the proposed rent of where it could be?
It's a really fantastic question, especially in the current marketplace. We're seeing a lot of properties that are marketed price-wise at market rents, but maybe the in-place rents are lower than the current market. And so what we typically like to take a look at is the historical performance of the property. We want to see really some trends. The trends in the rents going up, if they stayed stable to begin with, to get an idea as to can this property actually support an increase in rents. If we think that it can support an increase in rents, then we're going to look at the management that's going to be in place also. Is this borrower going to have property management in place? And we might even have a discussion with the person that's going to be managing the property for them, if they're not going to manage it themselves, to see what they think they'll be able to achieve based on the other properties that they manage in the same market area.
That makes sense. That really helps, because I've seen a lot of situations where maybe an owner-manager has a property and they're selling it, but my investors typically use professional management because they're more passive investors. I just had a situation where market rent was $400, but when my client took it over, they were able to raise rents to $550, but they used a professional manager. So in a situation like that, if it can be documented and demonstrated, then you will take that into consideration?
We can take that into consideration, yes, on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, great. So would you be willing to come back and join me, and let's talk more in depth about actually the borrower information qualification process and what you want to see during that initial loan application?
I would love to. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm René Nelson with Pacwest Commercial Real Estate. Thank you for watching.